Hey folks, welcome back. So today I'm preparing to do this 14-day wilderness survival challenge out here again in the same area, kind of scouting it out. And I've been out here like 8 times or so, all of which were overnights, at least overnights. And I've been just kind of refining my gear on what's going to work and what isn't going to work. The parameters are I'm allowed to move around. There will be hopefully, probably, a couple other guys also recording at the same time, and at the end of it we're going to collaborate with videos, and so that you can see mine, you can see their point of view too. But at any rate, 14 days. I'm not bringing very much food. You'll see that in just a second. But I've kind of organized this into 5 categories. I have the survival stuff, the clothing stuff, the camera stuff, the emergency stuff, and sundries, just things that didn't fit in any specific category. So this is the survival stuff, and I'll just kind of go through it and show you what's here. And the Ferro rod, I think everybody's pretty familiar with those. I've replaced the striker, so it gives it a nice hot spark. This is my Leatherman Super Tool Surge. You've seen the video, hopefully. If you haven't, go look at it. It's a great video. I built this thing and it's working out wonderfully. A little bit of snare wire. This is stainless steel snare wire like they use for aircraft, for safety wiring on nuts and bolts to keep things from vibrating loose. This stuff is pretty amazing. Like, I've tried the carbon steel wire and it's okay, it'll get the job done, but this stainless steel wire will take, if you sit there and twist a piece, like say that long, and just sit there and twist it round and round like that, you can twist this stuff like 36 times before it finally breaks. With the carbon stuff, if you get one full revolution out of it, it's probably broken. So tough stuff. My Gomboy 240, I have it set up so that I can flick it like that, because my thought is if I'm clearing a trail or something like that, or holding my bow in my hand, I want to be able to deploy my saw with one hand. I don't like a sheath saw just because it clanks around in the holster and it's just something down by my leg that gets in the way. So this happens to fit into my pants pocket. Let's see here. Right here in this pants pocket. And then I've got it with me at all times. Alright, next up I have some parachute cord. This parachute cord is from Atwood rope manufacturing out of Ohio. It's USA made. But this is a neat little thing. This is actually Dynema parachute cord. So whereas regular parachute cord is rated for 550 pounds, or the Walmart stuff's rated for 110 pounds, this stuff is rated for 1,250 pounds. It's also half the weight of regular parachute cord. I'm really surprised this stuff hasn't caught on, hasn't hit mainstream yet, but you can't even find it with their parachute cord. You have to look through their website very, very carefully before you find this. Maybe I'll leave a link in the description, because I'm still testing this stuff out, but so far so good. Thought for a ridgeline, for my shelter and all that sort of thing, this stuff is half the weight of parachute cord and twice the strength. Why wouldn't I want to go with something like that? Maybe because it's a little bit more slippery and it doesn't want to hold a knot quite as well. But, I mean, just put another loop in it, see what you can do. But anyway, that's my parachute cord. A little piece of screen. This is the military surplus. I don't know, it comes in a big sheet and it's got edging, where it's sewn up to. I guess it was like a bug net or something like that, but I could use this as a bug net veil, or I could use it as I could trip a piece off to make it into a crayfish trap or something like that. It's just a nice little material to bring along. I thought I'd bring this kind of as my wild card. Fishing kit, that's all in there. Now I also have a very small ferro rod. It'd probably be enough for 14 days, but it is pretty difficult to use because how do you grip this thing? I've lit a couple of fires with it. Not my favorite by any means. It could just get the job done, and my thought is if I lost my main one, well, at least I have a backup. Alright, and then my fishing line, this is Trilene, I don't know, something strong. Anyway, it doesn't tangle up as much as other monofilaments. So far so good. I've tested it out a bit, I like it. A little bit of these trout bait things, they're like fish egg things. I don't think they're actual fish eggs, but whatever, the trout bite them. I've used pink before to good success. They had yellow, and it seemed like they were selling more yellows than any other color. So do what other people know you know, what they do, and that's probably right. I don't know. I'm not much of a trout fisherman. I've caught a few here. A mouse trap. My thought there was there's mice in every campsite. They start getting into my stuff. Well, I got a backup plan. Also, I could catch a mouse and potentially use it, you know, the guts for bait. Moving right along my cookware kit. So just a steel frying pan, just a little guy, copper bottom. I like it because of the handle mostly. Titanium spoon, really not essential, but it's nice. It's nice to have. And my titanium cup. And I like this one. This is a Snow Peak. I keep saying polar or something, right? Snow Peak. It's cold. I had the right idea. And then my Grail Ultrapress. I ran across something recently with this, that if you get one of these and you replace the filter, make sure you know this. If you buy this, it actually usually has a one-way valve inside of it. When you buy a new filter, it doesn't come with a one-way valve. So down inside of here, it's kind of like a rubber hat. You really can't see it. Maybe you can. It's like a rubber plug that goes in there. It has like little vents on the side. When you buy the new filter, it doesn't come with one. So I threw away my old filter, and then I figured out, wait a minute here, that one had the one-way valve and the new one didn't. So I had to go back and dig through the trash and find it. Fortunately, it wasn't very dirty, and put it into this one. So you get a Grail, make sure if you're changing filters, you have that one-way valve. Just a regular old sleeping bag. This is the military surplus one. It gets the job done. I've had it for over a decade. This is my tarp. It's about a 10 by 10, something like that. It's not a perfect square. I think it's meant for like going over a hammock. Yeah, one of those things. But it works quite well. I have reinforced it. I've redone the seams, and it's a good little tarp. All right, the one thing I missed over here was my knife. So why the heck would I bring a knife this big? Because I'm not bringing an axe. So I made this knife out of a Jeep leaf spring, 1996 Jeep Cherokee leaf spring, and I use it to just process firewood, chop rose bushes out of the trail, that sort of thing. It's just a nice to have knife. And the story was, I had a knife kind of similar to this when I was a kid. Somebody sold it to me at the Green Dragon Fair up by Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Had these grippy things. I always loved that knife. The guy charged me 10 bucks for it, but I loved that knife, and it got lost back when I was like 18, so I wanted to make a new one, and just cut it out with angle grinder. Just went slow so it didn't get too hot, kept it cool, and I just really like the grip on it. It's a good feeling knife, and it's heavy enough that you can wail on this thing all day long and not worry about hurting it. The steel is okay. It's 5160 spring steel, is much best I can determine. And it doesn't hold a perfect edge. Like, you do have to sharpen it pretty often if you're doing fine stuff. But for processing firewood, you don't have to worry about that too much. And last of all, my bow, my recurve bow. So I've got 4 broadheads, 1 tri-spoke, and the others are just flats, 2 blunts, one of which is on a flu fletching. That ought to be enough for 14 days. Everything will be in, basically. Not everything, but small game for the most part. Duck and goose comes in, and bear and deer are in too. So quite a lot of hunting opportunities. All right, moving right along, we'll go over to clothing. All right, as far as clothing goes, North Face rain jacket, Fjällräven felted wool top, button-up top. Uberleben, what they call tarp. You can still find these on eBay for not a ton of money. These are awesome. It's woven a little tighter than most of their other fabric, but it's a wool top. Merino wool cap. This is Helly Hansen, and it was terrible. And had my wife sew the edge, and that made it a whole lot better because it would, like, I don't know, come apart. Anyway, it was the main complaint on the reviews too, but it's not a bad little hat. Merino wool bottoms, merino wool neck buff in orange. Obviously it's in orange. Maybe you're colorblind, maybe you didn't see that. And then waffle top, military surplus top. Pretty warm. So that's that. not bringing like a heavy jacket or anything, and this is going to be into October, so this is going to have to cover me as far as clothing goes. Also, I'll be bringing a wool top, wool t-shirt, and just a single pair of pants and a pair of underwear, probably merino wool underwear, another pair of socks, and the boots that I'm wearing now. Military surplus poncho liner, and then inside of it she sewed in a Marine Corps tarp. So it's somewhat waterproof on one side. It has the insulation on the other. You can wear it like a cape. Let's see here. You can wear it like a cape around the campfire if you have to. If it's raining out, you can put it waterproof side out. And then it's got buttons. You can button it right up and wear it like a cape. You can also use it as a ground pad in your shelter. But you know, that way, yeah, you're not getting moisture right out of the ground all night long. All right, that's just the stuff sack. She also made that, that all this stuff goes into. I figured an orange hunting vest would not be a bad thing to bring. There could potentially be other hunters in the area, so why not? One more pair of wool socks, flip-flops. Now these I kind of went back and forth on not bringing these at all, and then I realized, like, whenever I have to cross this pretty major streams, there's pretty major streams around here, I have to cross them, you know, maybe 30 foot of walking through water. And sometimes I can get through there with my boots on and be fine, but if I get my boot inundated, you know, if I get out above the ankle and it splashes in, I'm in trouble, because then I've got wet boot for the next day, at least day. These things here, I didn't know how grippy they would be, so tested them out, and they are amazing. You get them in the water and they just absolutely stick to the rocks. They were just dollar store, $15 Realtree flip-flops. And in that same vein, the Kentuck Gators. These, if you strap them up tight and you move through the water pretty quickly, you're probably going to have dry feet on the other side. Yeah, I mean, even these have limits, so you can't stand in the water for any length of time because they will eventually leak through. But if you're just going to go across the stream with waterproof boots on, and you have got these strapped on your ankles pretty well, they'll keep your feet dry. The other thing is walking through wet grass, wet brush. You put these on and they'll keep you a whole lot drier than without. And then a pair of leather gloves, which are covered in pine sap. So, all right, on to the next category. All right, next one's pretty easy, pretty quick. Just camera stuff. So I've got some charging cords and mounts and tape, and another mount that I made. More charging cords, a backup camera, a charging deal, batteries, my headlamps, and then this is my battery. I may not wind up bringing this, but then again I might. So this is just a Walmart drill battery, right? But it has an out port as well, so in and out, and it has the USB-C port, and then for charging you can use either. Actually, you can out on either too. You just have to like double press this button, and then you'll get a little green light that says, yeah, I can do that. So I found last night I charged 5 of these GoPro batteries, 5 of them, and it only lost 1 bar. So it's a pretty good battery. And the main thing is they're not a lot of money, and it's got other uses. You know, where if you buy one of those flat pack Anchor, whatever, battery packs, well, I mean, they're good, but that's all they are. Whereas this, I can use in my drills. All right, so this is my emergency stuff. I'm gonna go over it. We have a Garmin InReach. This is a emergency beacon. It will also send a monitor, like someone who's, you know, monitoring where I'm at, a pin every so many minutes. I think I can set it out to 30 minutes. So it'll tell them my location every 30 minutes and kind of create a bread trail line on where I'm at, or where I was at last. This is a solar e-Trex GPS device. I kind of consider this an emergency device because I probably wouldn't be using it every single day. But if someone else who's out here has an issue and gives me their coordinates, I can then put it in here and head that direction. The other thing is that this is solar. Now, I misspoke initially when I got this, and I thought that then I could charge this off of this, but it won't. But this will charge something like a cell phone, which is weird because then you have to recharge this, but whatever. this won't recharge anything else. It would have been a nice feature, but they just didn't do it that way. But it will maintain itself as far as, you know, stick it in the sun, then you get the a readout that says like how much. So you can go to solar. All right, and then it shows, you know, like right now it's charging 113% because I'm not holding it like right straight at the sun. As for glasses, probably wouldn't bring these, but I would bring them just up until the point that I left. I have a lanyard for them as well, and then a cleaning lens for both the camera stuff and the glasses. Some ibuprofen and a couple of cotton balls. That's another way to light a fire, the cotton ball method, and a little bit of electrical tape around that. All right, little first aid kit. So I got a triangle bandage in here, some band-aids, a good pair of tweezers, and I have some emergency matches, like those stormproof matches. If all else fails, if it's in a true emergency, I can break those out and actually get a fire going, probably. But it's just basically boo-boo stuff. Now, I'm not bringing a tourniquet or anything like that. Look, I'm comfortable not bringing one. I'll just leave it at that. If you think you need to bring one, then bring one. Now, this is my emergency food, and the idea here is that I don't use this. This is if I run into real problems out there and I need to get back to the vehicle and I'm really run down, this is what I break into, eat something, so I've got the energy to do it. But I figure if I tap into that, I'm pretty well done and I need to go home. All right, so this right here is just the Sundries. These are the things that I just consider nice to haves. Or, yeah, hunting and tripping regulations. Gives me something to read, I guess. Also, in that way I don't run afoul of the law. And fishing. Compass, map. Yeah, those I would actually use, but still consider them Sundries because they don't really fit in another category. A ground pad, this is an inflatable. I thought about not bringing it, but I mean, why not? It's like my one little creature comfort. A wash kit for washing my dishes, washing my hands, to keep things a little cleaner. One thing of salt, and this will be full of either tallow or lard or maybe butter, but some sort of shortening. No, not vegetable shortening. That stuff's gross. That, you know, so I can cook well. This is instant coffee. Now, this is not Starbucks. It's Taster's Choice. And it happens to fit exactly inside of my Grail. It happens to fit right inside of my titanium cup pretty well, so that's why that container. It's just some drink mixes, a little bit of toilet paper, some instant coffee, 2 little beef sticks, just a couple little, you know, snacky things. Not really even snackies, just things that make you feel better. And one Write and Rain pad with a pencil. All right, the last thing, and maybe in some ways the most important thing, is the pack. So this is an Osprey Talon 44. It's a 48-liter pack. It's nice and lightweight. Not the lightest pack, but it's pretty light. Have the top on it as well. Has bottom access. 3 nice side, you know, nice big side pouch, nice big rear pouch, another nice big side pouch, which, oh. Okay, this was one of the survival things too, was just a water pouch for carrying water up to my campsite. And a lid for the titanium cup. I missed a couple things. Okay, anyway, on the inside, a place that I put my flip-flops, and it also has 2 hip pouches, which that's where my fishing kit goes. This side goes to the parachute cord and snare wire. The top I made removable, but initially it was not. It has clips on one side, and then on the back side I added 2 just for temporary. I got to get the right ones, so that way I can take the whole top off and it becomes kind of like maybe a day bag or a harvesting bag or something like that. If I want to go lightweight and just take the pack and not the top, I can do that too. My brother gave me a Talon 22, which is the smaller sized one of these. Love that pack, but it was just not big enough for all this gear. It was really getting overstuffed. Although I did manage to pull it off, it was just, you know, really crammed. So I wanted to go up to a larger pack. It's a great pack. Love it. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. That's all the gear list. Let's go on a hike.